Good, good morning. Good morning. So, I have this very formal introduction to get us started this morning, but you learn so much about your panelists watching them all in the back screen while they're listening to your 30-second lane music. So, all right. Welcome to everyone. I can promise one thing that the next 25 minutes is going to be fun, educational, and incredibly entertaining. So, all right. Well, let's start with an incredibly huge thank you to all of my panelists, because I think this is going to be a lot of fun. For those of you who don't know or didn't read the backstory on why we are all here today, the five of us hang out on purpose once a week. So we're bringing you this conversation with purpose starting today so that you can all witness it and, decide if we're normal or not. So if you're listening in or tuning in, thank you for joining us. And we're going to give you an opportunity to ask some questions in the comments, contribute, and we can go from there. So if you are watching and adding into the conversation, please be sure that you like or share or comment. It does help the conversation that we're going to have today reach more people that maybe need to hear this input that maybe don't know us yet. So, put your toe in the world. And if you're watching the replay, you can always comment that you're watching the replay. That helps as well. We have an incredibly robust panel here today. What we have dubbed the People's Panel brings together these five incredibly just talented individuals, obviously myself, but these four people I am so privileged to get to know and work with on a weekly, if not more frequent basis. They are dynamic leaders who have literally decades of experience and not just in HR, but I think, across industry. If we shared what the temperature was outside where we live, you would probably be shocked. We are all over the United States coming to you and in the trenches with people that you work with, you work for, that you have worked with in the past. We have the pulse on all the things going on. Inside surveys you've run, inside surveys you're curious about. After your leadership leaves the room, we have heard it. So let's start with when HR leaves the room inside your organization. We all know that there's a different vibe. HR leaves, and then everybody takes an exhale. They want this metric perfect answer, and sometimes that isn't possible. Dana just said we're talking about facts in that statement. That's a very real thing. So the question is, how do you access what those true answers are? How do you tap into that energy? And the five of us have decided that we probably hear the best of those conversations because we're not internal employees. We are those outside contractors, and we're willing to have those tough conversations. This group is going to take about 20 minutes. So buckle up, 20 minutes, maybe 25, because we talk a lot. And we're going to specifically answer the question, where and how AI is used in the hiring process. So let's start. I will stop talking. What is your thought about how AI is seen, good or bad, inside your hiring process? And obviously we have some people watching. Dana just said she already likes our audience. So, all right, guys, let's hear it. What is good or bad inside your audiences in regards to AI?
Leslie, you sort of brought up the question as well. So should Leslie begin the conversation?
Let's do it, girl. You just got tossed
the bad and the ugly.
I'm in. So I've heard some people from HR talking about automating onboarding using AI and bots to onboard their new employees. And I have an overall recommendation, and then I'll go into more about that.
Okay.
My overall recommendation is when things are well-known processes and ordinary tasks that can be made into processes, using AI is fine. But when things involve human relationships, then you need the human touch. And so onboarding, making a person feel welcome and helping them get oriented to their new job, I think that involves a lot of human touch. That's not, in my opinion, that is not a candidate for using AI. Things like tracking metrics and things of that sort, those are good opportunities for using AI. But when it involves human connection, no, leave the humans involved.
I love that. Okay, what else? Who else?
Yeah, and I think here's what we know. No people, like zero people, no success. But when we know people, we then know success. So the goal, of course, in all HR, human resources, is to get to know people. And AI will never completely be able to do that, nor is it its job. I love the idea of using AI as a tool, a partner tool, like a tool in a toolbox. You can pull out a hammer and build something magnificent with it, or you could maim and destroy with that same hammer. So it's not the tool, it's not AI, it's the craftsman who wields the tool and how we use it. So yeah, sure, let it do the stuff, the heavy lifting stuff that we don't want to. So
yeah, amen to that.
Yeah.
You know, look, I wanted to say too, I hear Kat say a lot of the time that AI is a tool. Totally agree. And because when you're able to even communicate with the people that you're working with, hey, we do use these tools. These are AI-based tools, but the reason we're doing this is because it's part of our process. And it may be that we're just using that to be able to get people to the table and understand some things. But ultimately, when we're there, now we're going to learn about each other. We're going to learn about what our goals are. We're going to help you understand, to take Leslie's point, if we're looking at an onboarding situation, well, this is what it looks like to be part of the culture in our organization. Here's how you're going to be successful in this organization. And to Dino's point, you can't do that with AI. You can certainly use a lot of AI tools to be able to get to that part of the conversation. And it's nice that those are available. But then the human side takes over and you keep the people in the process, as they say.
Yeah, AI doesn't have heart, soul, or emotions. So, you know, how can you relate to people if you don't understand that? How can you understand the person who's having a bad day or is struggling with something, or the person who's super excited? How can you engage with that? And it's all back, as Dean always points out, you know, it's always about that people connection. And that's who we're working with. And if you're going to be successful, it's as a team, as people. AI is just, it could be the assistant. It could do a mundane task. It can do a lot of things for us. But ultimately, it's so that we can spend more time with people.
Yeah.
Effectively.
I love that. I think one of the things that one of the things that I think is always really interesting when we frame it for people is that they bring AI into their role, or sometimes they're forced into it, and they choose to assign AI tasks or jobs that they actually want to do rather than choosing to do or give it tasks that they actually don't want to do. So if you came into HR because you really love the people, then don't ask it to deal with your people. Ask it to do the data analytics or writing reports that you really don't like to do, and flip the script on your relationship again with AI, and really kind of decide as you don't like about your job and try using AI on those components first and develop a new relationship with it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead.
No, I was going to say, here is clearly, Dana says AI is okay. AI is not the evil overlord here. AI is at the bidding of the people who wield it. So AI is a great partner, just like, you know, driving a car. You know, I know that the pedal on the bottom right makes the thing go faster, and the one on the left kind of slows it down and stops it. Can I rebuild an entire car? No. Do I have to? No, but it helps me get where I need to get to go. And AI, I think, in that way, is a very powerful, very useful, and it could do all kinds of things that we can't even imagine. Even talk to people. What?
Right. Exactly.
Well,
Okay, so
we're in the process of hiring some people for the Midland Institute for Entrepreneurship, and one of the ways I've used AI is we get the resumes, and we get the cover letters in. We also have candidates we're serious about looking at closer, do disc profiles. So what I've been able to do is, I can read all of that. But what I also did is I used AI. I said, hey, here's these 3 pieces of information. Can you go through and analyze them for me, point out some things? So I did it that way to get the AI analysis of it. And, luckily, a lot of times it matched what I was already feeling, because I'm a pretty intuitive gut instinct type person. But it also brought up some things maybe I hadn't thought about. Then further, as moving to an interview, I was able to use it. Hey, what's your suggested question set? And key things that it pointed out. So it can be an effective tool that way, but ultimately it's using that as the tool to prepare, to understand the person a little better. But then the final part of that was it had to be me. It had to be people in that interview,
right.
connecting and engaging to really.
You're saying tool a lot. Are you calling me a tool?
Here comes the humor,
Yes.
folks. Here comes the humor.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's use that suggestion as the segue to the next part. We're about halfway done, so bear with us here. Chris used one of the examples that I was talking about here in terms of recommendations for how you use AI to not burn out. Leslie had a couple of recommendations I know in her pocket to talk about you really using it as a tool inside your hiring process. I love Chris's recommendation to index the data and then take that information to the people side. Do not, please, for all things holy, do not remove yourself from the hiring process or the onboarding process completely. So tell me what you have in your bag of tricks when you come in, consult for a company, or are repairing a process. What tools or suggestions you guys make to an organization that is struggling with AI, or you find AI rampant in their hiring and onboarding process?
I already gave you one because I'm an overachiever. So
yeah. Okay, Leslie, go ahead. We'll let you go first again, since this is your hot button.
Well, for the last 25 years, when people apply for jobs, their resumes and their application gets screened by some sort of tech program, and now it's more AI driven. And as a former hiring manager, I have interviewed thousands and hired hundreds of software developers. I recognized that process of screening screened out a lot of people who were great candidates. And the reason it did is it was screening for past technical skills. But what I was looking for was people who could learn, because maybe their past technical skill that was needed today would be gone by a year from now, because technology changes. So looking for past technical skills, like how has this person have 5 years experience using whatever, that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was, is this person a great learner and a really intelligent person? And that's what I screened for when I looked at the resumes. And there were times when I hired people that others said, what? Why did you hire that person? She doesn't have a computer science degree. And I'd say, she's smart and she's a leader. And a year later, they'd tell me that was one of the best hires that I'd made. So anyway,
so Leslie, let me ask you this. Do you tweak the screening tools, or are you suggesting that the screening tools are removed? Because let's be honest, in today's hiring, the amount of resumes or applications that my clients are receiving that really truly are not qualified is incredibly high. So is your recommendation that they're tweaking the screening tool, or that they change that process entirely?
They need to continue to use a screening tool, because, as you say, they get so many unqualified ones. But they also need to have their own eyes on the resumes to decide, is this person a learner? Now, here's a way I would use AI as an interviewer. uh, I believe that behavior-based interviewing is a great way to go. And so if I'm looking at a person who says, well, I worked on the risk system at IBM and built a C compiler for that, I would ask AI to compose several behavior-based interview questions based on what the person said they experienced while they were working on risk system compiler development at IBM, which was no doubt a long time ago, but just a behavior-based question based on that, and get a couple, 5 behavior-based questions from AI, and then go ahead and ask those, and it'll help you probe how the person reacted to challenges, how they managed to make the trade-offs necessary to get a product to market. So that's how I would use it.
I love that, because I think, and maybe some of you can also chime in on this one because we're a couple layers deep in the question now, but I think that as HR, not being overly familiar with all the roles, that's a great way to ask AI to really let you formulate 2 or 3 levels deep and really present qualified candidates to your hiring managers that really are the right candidates. Okay, so Dean or Tim, the people person, all the time. Like, what are you guys suggesting on any one of those questions? Because Leslie teed you up quite well.
Yeah, no doubt. And Leslie is the expert for sure. So I would add this, and this is a personal experience with a great friend of mine that is in this position right now. And here's the scenario with screening tools. And I think this makes a lot of sense to really understand what you're using, because you could be missing a gem for sure. So, and the people side of this. So a buddy who finds himself looking, has an incredible resume, has been an executive level person for a long time, hasn't put a resume together for 15 years, just hasn't needed to. So here he is putting it together, throwing it out to some places that he knows he's qualified for with absolutely no response, nothing. It's not going anywhere. So he follows up with one of the organizations because he knows somebody in there and said, hey, look, I submitted an application, a resume. I know I can at least get a conversation. Hey, we didn't see it. Go ahead and resubmit it. By the way, what are you submitting it in? Tells him, well, I'm just putting it together in Word. Here's what. Oh, hold on a second. It's going to be better if you format it this way, then we can look at it. However, this is the twist. The CEO said, wait a second. So you never got a call back? Nothing? He said, yeah, that's right. And he goes, okay, well, I'm going to test something. Put in his own resume to see if his own organization would catch it. They didn't catch it. So from an HR perspective, just to see like, hey, there could be some people going. So to keep this human element is so important. He found a way to get, a conversation so that somebody could say, well, ultimately what happened here. Just be aware of the tools you're using so you can still, like this, you can connect with somebody once you know you have the right thing. So Dean, I'll hand it over to you. Dean, you've got to be done.
Nice pass off.
Yeah, that's a great segue.
Yeah, great segue. Go ahead, Dean. Ironically, Dean and I were just talking about this before we got on. So go ahead.
Yeah, we've all been lied to. I mean, we've been told that business is B2B or B2C, business to consumer, business to business, and all that. It's all, I don't care whether you're a hiring manager, whether you're a frontline worker at a restaurant, at a fast food place, it's all P2P, people to people. Yeah. And I think we missed that key element. And again, even in the digital pre-screening, technology pre-screening process, if it figures out that you used AI in a bad way to create your resume, of course you're going to get shut down, because you dumb. Stop it, right? Make sure that, use the right tools for the right place in the right position and all of that chocolatey goodness. And then actually, I don't know, maybe pick up the phone and saying, I'd love to be in the pool of consideration, if it makes sense. I don't want to be in a bad job either, but if it makes sense, I'd love to at least get a conversation.
Absolutely. Right. Just get on the phone, call somebody. You say this all the time, Dean, just call somebody. Let's have a conversation.
Right. I think honestly, as humans, the best thing we can do for ourselves and others is become an askaholic, is just learn to ask, just ask good questions, ask better questions, be more interested than interesting, all of that people stuff. This is not news to anybody here. People over process, people over profits. people over programs, people over any other P word. You can P your way to success. Just ask and talk and connect and communicate and collaborate, and then you'll convert. So
I think that go ahead.
I'm done. Thanks.
I think the culmination of all of those kind of comments is, yes, you have to have the document, but what will separate you from the bot or from the AI screener or whatever happens to be in place is, in the end, you are still the advocate for you. And, sending a LinkedIn message or finding someone's email and really saying, I am the unique person. That's what we coach. If you come through our career coaching as an individual, or you come through our recruiting channels, we will fix your resume. We will run it through all the SEO. We will make sure it's all the things, but you have to have both. And you still have to be able to shake hands, just like the good old days. You still have to be able to make eye contact. And I think some of that does set you apart. Plus, you have to be able to pass the AI check. So, by the way, connect with any of us.
Real quick?
Yes.
Just imagine for a second that you actually mail something to somebody. Like, it doesn't even have to be a piece of paper, a resume, whatnot. It's like, mail them a gift, mail them a cookie, mail them a shoe with a note attached to it says, now that I've got my foot in the door, I'd love to be able to interview with you, whatever it is. I mean,
CEOs all over the world or HR hiring people just totally banned our panel because they just got a bunch of shoes in the mail. Thanks, Dean.
You're welcome.
And they weren't
okay.
The other thing.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, we promised fun. Okay, so we have about 3 minutes. So we want to do two things. I'm going to ask each one of you to tell me off the cuff, and I will start. So you just have a couple minutes to think. What is an AI prompt that you use consistently? This is going to be Tim's favorite part. I warned him, just FYI. An AI prompt that you use that you think you could pass on to this community that they could use in their day-to-day action. I will go first because I love it. Then I'm going to make Dean go because I know he's got one up his sleeve, literally. And then we'll pass it on throughout the group. I actually was handed this in an event that I was in, and I love it. So I pass it forward as often as I can. If you are currently using AI or multiple AI chats, you can do it in all of them. Go to the AI and ask it to scorecard you on how you are utilizing that chat. Don't ask somebody else. Don't come and ask us. Ask the chat itself, and it will tell you, hey, you're doing great, or hey, you only use me for this, and you could potentially use me for that. Again, we're training these to know you and help you better. I did it as soon as I got home that day, and I did a lot of things really great, but there were certain things I could totally use it for, and I now do. So ask each chat that you use to scorecard you. Okay, Dino, you're next. What you got? Super quick.
Yeah. I love it. Ask along the same lines. Ask it to be brutally honest with you. Don't sugarcoat. Listen, if you want to feel good, just journal in Chat GTP or any of the other AIs, because it's like, hey, you are awesome. You did a great job. What a great question. No, ask it. Say, be brutally honest. Catch me in the act. If I'm not telling the truth, or if I'm not asking the right questions, tell me what you need to do to do the best job, so that we can continue to work together in a more productive and honestly, brutally honest way. So
I love that.
Along the lines of what you said, but just ask for it to correct you and be brutally honest.
I love that. All right, Chris.
Dino is that, like, obviously he's like got all of these catchphrases, all of stuff. I would say, be the human when you're engaging with AI. Ask it the human questions that you would ask as a human. Don't try to be AI to AI.
I love that one. All right, Tim Long for the win. All right. Okay. He had to hurry up and get his in there so that nobody else used it, so he could use the one he had.
Exactly.
Okay. Chris, what you got?
Yeah, Kat and Dean copied mine. But I'll give you an HR specific one that I used recently. Was I actually asked AI about a candidate. I said that would be my direct report, and I said, look at their profile and everything about them, everything about me, and how would we work together? How would we work together effectively? And would we work together effectively? And so
I love
like,
that.
okay, here's where you match up. Here's where might be some challenges, and here's where you're going to struggle. And it was able to take all of that and give some insights that sometimes it's harder to get insights out ourselves. And it was able to do that. So there's an HR one.
Ooh,
Wow,
this
that's a
one made me love
fantastic
that.
one. Really love that, Chris. Okay, Leslie, you're up. What you got?
All right. So one of the things that is always a challenge is performance reviews. And a lot of times a manager will struggle with giving a performance review when the manager wants to improve or get the employee's behavior to improve. So one thing you can do, and this is something that I think is valuable, think about what you want. What do you want from that employee? So I'm going to consider a particular employee who did things that were really jerky, like kicking people's desks. So this employee had very rude behavior. And what I wanted from that employee was for that employee to stop being a jerk. So say to your chosen AI, my goal is to do a performance review and get employee X to stop being a jerk. I want him to start turning his work in on time rather than late, and to be polite to other people. How can I say that in a way that will make him more cooperative and collaborative rather than make him put up his defenses and quit? And
I love that.
You can get ideas to state it rather than saying, look, here's what I want. I want you to stop being a jerk, which is going to make the person put up the wall of defense immediately, and you're not going to get anywhere. So you have to have a little coaching. That's a good place for it.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, this is why you got 5 powerhouses. All right. I love this. Okay. Well, we promised you 25 minutes. We're at 27. So I know, over deliver, under promise, over deliver. Okay. First of all, thank you to all of you. You guys, I cannot express my gratitude for all of you and what you give to me on a weekly basis, and obviously what you graciously gave this community. Tell us in the comments whether you're watching or rewatching and what you would like us to talk about next time. We will be back. I don't know if that's a threat or a promise, but we will be back. And in the weeks or comments ahead, or weeks or months ahead, probably 4 or 5 times. We'll see. We'll see how the holidays go. But remember that you can follow all of us and our socials. You're watching this probably on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, maybe a little Instagram. We'll see. But all of us have handles everywhere. You can always send an email to info@oxygencoachinggroup.com, and I will connect you with any of these fine humans. And we just really appreciate you. We hope you all have a wonderful holiday, and we'll see you all soon.
No doubt.
Bye, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.